Good morning, everyone. We are live streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and this is my first international live stream with someone from Uganda. Richard, welcome to the live stream.
Thank you, Brian, and good morning, everyone there. It is actually afternoon for us here, evening almost. Welcome. It's nice to be here.
Wonderful. Now, for those of you who don't know why we're having this live stream, it will be very clear in a few moments. I want to thank everyone for coming. Richard's 7 hours ahead of New York time. So yes, it is 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to show some slides to everyone to set the tone of the conversation, and then I'm going to bring in Richard for some of the specific conversations that we're having. So I shared on LinkedIn and Facebook a video of Richard, and Richard was featured in a project that was helping his local community. And this project you can find on YouTube. And this was a project that was created by a company called Access to Innovation. Good morning, Tony. Welcome to the live stream. And Access to Innovation is a global company that goes and looks for opportunities to invest in the communities. And Richard's community was one of those projects. So he is in Uganda. There's the arrow. So we know how far away Uganda is. And what was really cool about the video, it was really teaching us about the needs of some very rural communities in Uganda. And that project was to bring equipment into Richard's community to help with the chickens that were being raised, that maybe 50% of the eggs would not hatch properly. With the right equipment, 95% of the eggs hatched. And what that meant was that the local farmers who were raising chickens could actually more than double their production. And in that video, you'll see one man saying that because of this equipment, he had more chickens. And if his son was sick, he could sell a chicken and take his son to the hospital. And like, we don't even think like that. Wow, how could selling a chicken help someone's life? Richard, that project was about 4 years ago. How would you describe its impact to help the community really with economic stability?
Thanks, Brian. It will be surprising to many of you watching me and listening that the first measure of well-being in a home is the availability of a chicken. It is said, there's a local saying here that the man is too poor. He does not even have a chicken in his house, in his home. So with no bank system, people keep chickens, goats, and cows as a saving. So when they did not have a stability of how to ensure that the chickens hatch, they saw that the hatchery, the innovation we did 4 years ago, stabilized this chicken production to the point that it's no longer an issue. Everybody can get a chicken. Everybody can hatch chicken because they no longer use the hen to sit on the eggs. They bring the eggs in the hatchery, which we have at the project.
That's amazing. And that's just one little thing that we take for granted. We go to the supermarket and we buy, what we need. I met Richard in my graduation class, graduate studies class. My first course is on leadership, mentoring, and consulting. Richard is taking this course from Uganda. And it was great to see a little bit of his story. So, Richard, in your community, most people do not have electricity. They're lighting their home with kerosene lamps. It's an agricultural community, correct?
Yes, and I want to add that it is a peasantry subsistence agriculture. When you hear agriculture, it's not the big mechanized agriculture. It is a hoe, the hand hoe, and sometimes oxen. If the cows, they put the cows to work to till a bigger land, but most times it is the hand hoe that is being done, and most of the food is for the consumption. A little bit surplus is what they sell for subsistence for other items.
Great. So I asked Richard to send some pictures. He took these pictures this morning, so you have an idea of the community. Very few people or buildings have electricity, although some of the facilities, like his office here, has it. So there are two projects that I want to share with everyone today. One is an existing project that is available immediately, and this is to create 30 village savings and loan associations. Now, I went online and Richard gave me a link. What is a village savings and loan? Since there's really a formal banking system or an entrepreneurial resources, this project helps to build a VSLA, a village savings and loan, where mostly women want to support their families by creating goods and selling them and making some extra money. The problem is that there's no system really for micro loans. There's no bookkeeping, even making an invoice to help somebody with their business. So this particular project is to empower 900 women to be entrepreneurs. Here's some photos from the global giving listing for this. These are some people in the community. And this story Richard shared with me, it blew my mind. And those of you who are on the live stream, I want you to think about this. This is a woman who's an entrepreneur. She hires 3 men to take those big rocks, and using manual picks and axes, they break up the stone into smaller pieces. And this woman sells these buckets of rocks for the construction industry. Richard, this woman is an entrepreneur, and in US dollars per month, what is she making for her work?
If she sells 2 truckloads in a month, which she gets about 300,000, 150 for each truck, which is 300,000. It's about $100 a month.
$100 a month.
Yes.
And for $100 a month, Richard, this is a way in which she's supplementing her ability to buy food for the family or medicine or send her children to school.
That's right, because what they can get from their garden is the food, but the home needs other things. They're like scholastic materials, books, pencils for the children, and they need kerosene for the lamp they need salt, cooking oil, soap, and the transportation. If they get sick, they have to go to the hospital. They will need the money, and also to respond to their neighbors' needs, because in this community it's a communal lifestyle. If your neighbor is sick, even if you're not the one who is sick, you have to support them as well.
Right. And Richard, would you say, because these village savings and loans, which are helping women start their own businesses, do the bookkeeping, actually have a lockbox, which blows my mind that's one of those needs. Would you say the people in these communities are willing to work? They just need the resources to get started?
Brian, before we started these loan associations, and I used to go to train farmers in sustainable food security, and they would come begging this item, begging this, begging even a tool to use. And it was a question of seeing you, and they think you are going to give them the money. Until we told them, I said, no, we don't have money, but we have got knowledge. We're going to give you knowledge, and you will use that knowledge to generate your own money. You remember that we have no banks in this community. So even if there was a bank, nobody has security. The bank cannot give you money without collateral. So there is no one who qualifies for a bank loan. So when we said, look here, how much can you save? How much can you afford to save? And they said, 2,000 shillings a week. And that is like $50 a week. And we said, okay, how many can you get together between 20 to 30 people? And there were many they could get together. So they start saving. They realized that they can get $50 times 30 every sitting, which is a week. And now in a month, they give that money to someone to start a small enterprise. Like to give this woman got money to hire the men to help her to crush the stones. From that, then once she sells the stones, she pays back the money in the group.
Yeah,
it's a way.
It's amazing that what we're talking about, and Laura, thank you for joining the live stream. We're not talking about a lot. We're just talking about getting people started. Here's a man who his business is he puts a chicken, in his bicycle, and he'll drive to sell that chicken. Again, entrepreneurialism. What broke my heart when Richard shared with me that just before COVID, they started a global giving campaign. And global giving, as you'll see, is a very, very high-rated global crowdfunding organization. They started this project, and you'll see, $20 to get a calculator and pencils, or $30 to get a safe box, so they had a safe place to put the money. These are little things to help these women understand how to do business, how to make receipts, how to save. And like when Richard sent me this, and he had no expectation, I didn't say anything to him. I just say, well, how do people help? And I was like, wow, only $38 was raised. And this is because obviously during COVID, people got distracted, but here are in these communities, hundreds of women who want to supplement and provide for their families, and they're just literally needing the training, the education. And so we'll talk about this project in a few moments as well. But it is amazing about this second project that Richard brought to my attention. And again, I don't know why God brought me and Richard together. I'm not sure. But when I saw that community photo and the fact that here was 900 women who want to be entrepreneurs, and we couldn't raise 5,400. When I say we, this world. And then when I talked to Richard about what would have the biggest impact in the community, he shared with me this idea of a global vision for his community to transform their farming. Now, in their local community, it is an agricultural, as Richard said, mostly by hand. This is not big machinery. This is people doing things by hand. Their diet is mostly rice and beans and corns, and you could read here. And they produce these foods to feed their family, and then they sell the excess. The problem, and I'm not a farmer, the problem here is that these products have to be produced. And so what we're proposing is to build a local grain processing facility where the local community members would bring in their rice or their corn, which Richard calls maize, I think. And then there'd be a holding area, and then there'd be some processing equipment and packaging. And then that would be stored and then put on a truck and moved to market to sell. Richard was telling me that some of these farmers are so restricted in their ability to earn because they manually try to process the grain. It's often done outside in the conditions, the cleanliness. It could be filled with dust in the air, and they're, trying to grind the grain or the rice or process, and that these farmers often can be taken advantage of by brokers who pay them very little, and then the brokers go process the grains. And it would be transformational for them to be able to have a local community-based processing plant that would allow them to process the grain. Now, Richard, I'm assuming also when they deliver the grain, if the equipment isn't there, doesn't the grain start to rot, or do they lose some of the crop if they can't process it right away? Like, I'm thinking corn in the heat. Is this a problem in general?
It is, and and usually, if they can't process it for one reason, like there is no enough power to run a small machine, they will keep it there. But once it is kept there for a long time, and they believe it doesn't even have to be a long time, because the storage is also, it is ground floor clay. It's not even cemented floor. They just heap sacks of grain there, so it will be exposed to moist. It will be exposed to rodents. It will be compromised the quality. By the time they come to even sell or to try to grind it, half is really spoiled. And the business person will say, the local trader will say, it is poor quality, it has got weevils, I cannot buy this, or I give you little money for it. And this person cannot take it back to his garden. He will have to accept whatever they offer, because he can't take it back to the garden. And
that's right. And what's interesting, if you think about it, if you watch the YouTube video I posted, they were raising chickens, but it was inefficient. The output of the eggs to chickens was very low. And through technology, they were able to double the number of chickens, which is the economy, which is their currency, which is their food. Here's the same thing. They're spending their livelihood manually farming corn and beans and rice and millet. They bring it in, and if they can't process the grain, it rots, or they get very little money. If we build a grain processing facility, the grains would be able to be processed right away. The waste would be reduced to almost nothing, and the farmers would be able to get the highest price because the quality would be high, the cleanliness would be high. Richard, for the farmers in your community, and many of them are farmers, what would this mean to them as far as a change in their income and change in their life?
We have small solar lighting systems. One indicator, one sign for us when we see who is progressing, most of these people will buy a solar lighting system, and they will put a panel on top of the house, whether it is a grass roofed house or not. In the night, you can see some well off the side that of families, they have a solar light. Now, if somebody can afford to buy a solar light, then he is improving. There are children now, they read the books on a solar lighting. That is a one sign of improvement. Then you see that the children now, they like to go to school with shoes, rubber shoes, cheap rubber shoes. Now, if a family is doing well, the child will go to school with rubber shoes, and they are not going to be walking. Other children are walking without shoes, barefoot. But a family which has got a good income will buy rubber shoes for the family, for the children. And they also on some days the nutrition will go higher. They can buy milk, they can buy meat maybe once in a week, weekend especially, because people celebrate here on weekends, starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's they celebrate. So we work only 5 days. Then the other days people can do shopping and going to church on Sunday. So that is an improvement, and I can see them, Brian. I see them on Sunday because I am also doing pastoral work. So I see people come nicely dressed in the church or in the market, because those are two areas where the people celebrate: the market and the church. So you can see them; they are dressed well. That's a sign of improvement. They buy a bicycle.
Yeah. Well,
they buy a radio.
When people are watching this live stream, I don't know how you felt, but it's really emotional to think about, hey, we're helping, we could help people so they can put shoes on their kids' feet. I mean, the beauty as an entrepreneur myself is that sometimes when you have global organizations that you give to, you don't know who it's going to. And God brought Richard in my life. And I've donated to many water projects or other things through church. But here is now a little town, a farming community, and Richard is there. He's working. He's also doing pastoral work. He's trying to develop his skills to be a better leader, a mentor, and a coach. So he put together, and when we talk about a grain processing building, I asked Richard, some of us think like factory. No, we're talking about some structures that can house the equipment, but surely not like what you would think is a U.S. factory. But here's what he came up with. Electricity goes on and off. And so without having stable electricity, the grain wouldn't be able to be processed in a timely fashion. So he put together a whole project plan, including the generator, so that this factory could be processing each day. So for the equipment and the construction of the buildings would be around $52,000 US. And he went through and showed me the pro forma invoices. This is a manufacturing company in China who produces this equipment. You'll see, it looks funny, right? 66 million Uganda shillings, right? It's like, some of the jokes we had, with the pesos, how many pesos, I'll pay you in pesos. Well, 66 million, you divide that by around 3,700, you get US dollars. This equipment is very simple, durable, but needed because the current equipment that is available to these farmers is either owned by someone else who takes advantage of them, or it's manual or really not reliable and surely not clean. And so the idea would be to process and package the corn, the rice, the grain, the millet, the nuts, so that the farmers could improve they're working, they're growing it. The problem is the selling piece and the processing piece, like the eggs, they're probably getting half of what they should, just like the eggs. By putting in an electric hatchery, they doubled their chicken production. By putting in packing and grain processing equipment, they could double their output and economic benefit. So here's the plan. In a single day, this equipment can process about 5,000 kilograms of grain. If the facility from a farmer purchased this grain for about $1,000, they can sell it for about $1,600. That means each day in gross profit, this grain processing facility could make about $500 a day, or 11 grand a month, because they work 5 days a week. And then about half of that would be labor, electric, maintenance, right? We want to make sure we have enough money set aside for parts that break. But that could be about $6,000 a month. Now, you think about the woman who was working all month with her rocks made $100 US. Think about what this could mean. Some of that money, right, would be put aside for repairs and maintenance, so that when the generator dies or when a piece of equipment. But for a community like that to have an extra $50,000 a year to reinvest in other projects, other equipment, other resources, what this does is it creates a funding mechanism for other projects. And so this initial project, Richard, really is a building block for the community to have new revenue sources. Is that a fair way of estimating that?
That's right. And you have to start. We think we must start from where they are before they can graduate into thinking big, thinking of exporting, or we must try to satisfy their needs. They have this one meets, they will have consistently something to eat, and all the produce we have calculated, we know we can buy if all the produce that they don't have to go through an uncertainty of trying to say, where do we sell? This is the business of the organization. We will look for the market. We will add value by processing and packing and sell. For them, all we are going to do is to train them to make sure that they produce quality cereals, so that they sell. Once they do, they will get the money. So they cannot say whatever they grow, as long as it is agreed upon, it is going to be purchased. So they can plan their lives. They can plan when they want to put a new roof of iron metal on their house. They can plan this. Right now they can't, because they are not sure even whether they are going to get anything from their current sale now. They are not sure about it. Now this is change your life there.
Yeah, it's amazing to think with this production facility, the farmers know their grain will be bought, and Richard will organize, because the grain can be sold. Remember, the schools, the government institutions, they buy the grain, right? So it's not who's going to buy the grain. The grain is being bought. The problem is the farmers, the local community people are been disadvantaged or taken advantage of, or just unfortunate, because if the equipment isn't ready, isn't available, and the grains are harvested, then spoilage and loss. So what we were thinking is to seed the project with 20 grand to start buying, having the money to buy the local grains, right? So that's about a month of cash flow, right? A little more than a month of cash flow, buying at about $1,000 for 5,000 kilos. That would give 20 days. So the cash flow of producing and selling, if there's a lag in payment, it can be handled. So, you know, I was thinking in the US, we're approaching Thanksgiving, and, you know, we take for granted going to the supermarket and buying corn or vegetables or chicken or turkey. And our tables in many, many US homes are filled with the goods of farmers. And maybe we don't always appreciate what it is to be a farmer, but more importantly, we're talking about really being a blessing to others, because God has really blessed our lives and our country. And so I want to break this word up for a moment. First, thanks. You know, I thank God for the ability to meet Richard through Southeast University class. And I'm very thankful. God has blessed our family, and I always look for ways to give back. We serve a gracious and generous God, a provider. And I want to just appeal to my friends and network. If you feel blessed, if you feel that you'd like to make a measurable difference, knowing someone in a local community, someone you can email, how's the project going? How are the lives? Richard is that conduit. And then the word giving. Obviously, people have sacrificed for us to get where we are today. And so I want to, in prayer, just in faith, step out and say, how can we help their town get this grain processing facility? So here's how I structured it in my mind. I'm looking for 10 volunteers who watch this video, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or YouTube, who feel like I felt that if we could help people who want to work, who want to provide for their families, they're just missing some of these infrastructure pieces that we take so much for granted. 10 leaders who would commit to raising $7,000 through their local relationships with businesses, social sharing, or personal outreach. The good news is we're going to set up a global giving project, so 100% of your donations will be tax deductible. That means those of you who work at corporations, who have corporate giving, would you consider doing something? Because I think one of the fun things about this, it will be good to get updates directly from Richard as we see this project progress, to hear from some of the people whose lives have been changed. Now, those of you who are not familiar with global giving, they are one of the world's largest global crowdfunding community. You'll see that their Charity Navigator score is 98.23, which is outstanding. So once we set up the project, when you donate, Richard will see that instantly, gets notifications on that project. So there's two projects I brought up. One is live right now, which is the Rural Savings and Loan to help these women, about 900 women who want to start their own business. They just really don't have the resources, materials, coaching, training to do that. And that link is available. And let me just post it in the live stream, because if you also agree with me that my heart broke when I saw $38 when 900 women who want to provide for their families, want to work, they're not looking for handouts, they're just saying, I want to be an entrepreneur like the woman who's crushing rocks. She needed just a little money to get the equipment, the picks, to hire the men, and then the cash flow of selling the rocks pays the men, and she makes $100 a month. Hey, that's an entrepreneur. I love that. And so that link, that project is there right now. And those of you who are watching this but don't see the comments, that's the hyperlink for the Budaka Uganda savings and loan. The bigger project, obviously, with the grain processing facility, I'm looking for 10 leaders. That's what I'm looking for. 10 leaders who will commit to raising $7,000. My goal is to raise that money between now and Thanksgiving, and that we would celebrate Thanksgiving, not just with our own families and table with food, but we would celebrate with Thanksgiving that we are empowering a revenue generation community grain processing facility, which would maximize the revenue for the farmers, create a better standard of living, give people hope, allow them to provide, and then use that funds for other infrastructure projects that can help the entrepreneurs grow. Richard, before we end, what's one thing that you would like to say to those people who are watching this video that would help them connect to the need and the fact that it will be a well-supervised project, that once we set our minds to it, this will be a project that will be up and running like the hatchery?
And to all members that are watching me now, there is a trend that some people think that in Africa, probably we cannot manage things, but I have a team. There is a team of committed, we are committed to the cause. And there is a qualified accountant, there is we are qualified trainers, they're qualified, we have an agriculturist, an environmentalist, because these are issues which are in the community. And these young people come in the morning and they go in the community to train, to teach people on a bicycle, or sometimes motorbike. Motorbicycle is used like a taxi in our community here. We don't use the taxi, but so they go every morning, and it can make you wonder how their satisfaction is that they can reach and train others. We are able to manage. We produce accounts, annual accounts. We produce audited books of accounts every year. We have these books, and that's the only way we can be able to get people coming in from like the UK as our current partners, and they say, okay, this is good, let us work with them. So I want to assure you that money will be well spent, and also you will be informed. We would like to show you good enough. Now we have got the videos, we have got the cameras. One time I will be in the field and I film, and you can see what is going on right in the training. You can see in the families. Of course, I ask them if it's okay, and you will see. Also, if situation normalizes, some of you, one or two, can take a trip, come and see, and I'm sure that they will be happy. Everybody will be happy to see when you come, because right now maybe the flight hasn't started coming yet to Uganda. But when it comes and we have set up, then you can send a representative and you come and encounter the people that we are talking about. These villages you're going to see many more things that I cannot mention here, but I know that so be assured that I've also got a commitment. For me, it's not just to satisfy myself, because I have a cause. I'm a believer in God. I'm a church minister. I do know that my reward is not anything that you can give me here. My satisfaction is that I have helped to improve someone's life. And that's what my Lord Jesus asks me, that go out and spread the word. You can't just go on preaching the words, to people, who don't have water. You can't just preach words. We can preach words, but we must feed them. We must clothe them. We must educate them. We must treat them. This is the gospel practically being preached. So this the approach, my approach, that I don't want just to go talking. I want to be able to demonstrate this love I have for people, for God, in a practical way, and so that people can say, yes, this is good. I met this man. So I'm happy that you have even spared time to come and to watch this. So I'm grateful. You are busy people. Thank you for coming.
Well, Richard, thank you for, first of all, investing in yourself with university. I don't know if anyone has any questions from the live stream. Of course, you can ask them. Again, I want to encourage you to pray, about how you might be able to help, this project. And again, let me just bring up a slide here. Let me do that. Let me just bring that up. There we go. Okay. So what I'm looking for is 10 people who would raise their hand and help us really take this as a team project to build this grain processing facility. This could be exciting. I've never done anything like this before. I just felt like, hey, let's see if we can have a huge impact in someone's life. If you are more compelled to donate to the Village Savings and Loan Program, the link is already there in the comments. Either way, let's see how we can refocus our thinking, our outreach in a real practical way. And again, we'll be setting up the crowdfunding link for the new global fundraising campaign for the grain processing. So this one's already up, okay? And I'd love to see that number grow today and tomorrow and the days ahead. There's the link for the Village Savings and Loan. And of course, I'm super excited about the grain processing project. I want to thank everyone who took the time to watch. This video will stay up on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter for weeks. Would you commit today to sharing it with somebody? Just share the link and say, hey, get involved. If you would like to be one of those 10 leaders, I'm going to put my email address in the comments. Okay, it's just brian@brianpash.com. It's very, very simple to do that. And I want to make sure that everyone knows how grateful I am for your consideration. Pray that God raises up the right people to support this project because, listen, there's needs all around, but this is the need that came to me, and I'm responding in any way we can, and I pray that we'll be able to do that. Richard, have a wonderful day, and would you pray for this project as well?
Yes, I want to pray, Father God, that you are the maker of everything. You are the Alpha and the Omega, and today you have set us up here because nothing happens without your knowledge. You are the one who knows who brought everybody who has attended this fellowship, and I know that you brought them for purpose. Lord God, I want to pray for them that as they go on thinking and reflecting on this project, that Lord, you will enlighten them. You will even give them insights. Maybe we have made we have not completed everything, but they give them an insight to see where we cannot see. They can come up with new ideas. Bless their work, bless the work of their hands, and may they all experience peace and prosperity. I want to pray this in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. And everybody say, Amen.
Okay. Amen. Hey, thanks, everyone. Richard, I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, everyone. And I really appreciate it. And Tony asked me to text him the link. I'll text him the link right now. Thanks, everyone.
Amen. Thank you.